These are the stories topping the news. St. Kitts and Nevis mourns with St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Lucia Nursing Council disputes exam claims. And Charlie Hebdo publishes a special issue. Welcome to ZIZ Midday Newscast for Wednesday, January 14, 2015. I'm Carla Barrage. Now the news in detail. St. Kitts and Nevis has joined Caribbean nations in expressing profound sadness on the tragic deaths that have taken place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, extended heartfelt sympathy to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and said he hopes that the support and condolences of persons near and far will offer some degree of comfort to the people of the islands. St. Vincent's Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, is a dear friend and colleague of Prime Minister Douglas. He therefore expressed hope that God will fill the people of that island with the strength required. Dr. Douglas also pledged his government's assistance to the Vincentian people in their time of distress. According to reports, a bus transporting children to school hit a utility pole and plunged off the cliff into the sea early Monday, killing at least 5 people. The accident happened as the van, carrying about 20 people, traveled to the capital of Kingstown, where the children attend secondary school. The Federation's Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, is today celebrating his birthday, and students and teachers within his constituency are showing appreciation to him. Earlier today, ZIZ News journeyed to the St. Paul's Primary School, where the staff and students hosted a mini birthday party for the long-serving parliamentarian and Prime Minister. At the St. Paul's Daycare and Preschool, the staff and students sang musical renditions for the Prime Minister. Dr. Douglas thanked the organizers for the kind gesture. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party's candidate for Constituency 7, Dr. Vance Gilbert, has said that he will not be intimidated or discouraged by recent acts of vandalism targeted at his political billboards and posters. Dr. Gilbert told Freedom Radio's EK that he believed the vandalism was politically motivated.
Dr. Harris should know by now, Vance Gilbert cannot be intimidated. I am the one who would see him on a field and walk across and shake his hand in front of everybody, and he has to wait 10 seconds before he decides to actually shake my hand. I am that one, so he knows he can't intimidate me. Good, and the people of number 7 must stand up and talk out against these things, because I will not allow these kind of things to happen. You understand? I will not allow these kind of things to continue, because he must understand that, we are in this thing for the people.
Gilbert continued that the vandalism showed that Dr. Timothy Harris, his political opponent, is not in tune with the present-day politics.
Understand, at the end of the day, the boards don't vote. And so Dr. Harris is really out of touch. He's out of touch with the people. Because the people are saying to me on the ground that, don't be like him.
Dr. Vance Gilbert. Now we'll look at news on the regional scene. The St. Lucia Bureau of Standards has put out a new draft standards document for public scrutiny. Don Nicholas has more.
The standards include graphic symbols like proper no smoking and no cell phone activation signs in work and public places. The standards are open to comments and the feedback is expected no later than March 14th. The draft document also covers areas such as the labeling of goods as well as electrical equipment.
So these standards are some are new and some are revised in that they are already on the books. However, things have changed, updates have been made to technology and science and even the way people use the standards, and we want to ensure that the standards remain current, and that is why they are being revised at this time.
The standard for public examination speaks to short-term vehicle rentals. The public can access the document via the Bureau of Standards website, or copies can be obtained at the Ministry of Commerce. Members of the public can post their comments online, which would perhaps be the fastest way to communicate their views.
I also need to mention that there are standards for short-term vehicle rentals, which is currently being proposed for public comment. And the public comment period is really when the public, anybody, users, consumers, persons involved in business, industry players, get an opportunity to add their voice to a standard that will become a national standard. So it is the opportunity where you can say what can be changed, what should be changed, what you know, whether it is that you are in complete agreement with the standard. You can also give that sort of indication so the technical committee can have an overall understanding that they are on the right track.
The St. Lucia Bureau of Standards will also engage stakeholders in a meeting to discuss the new document. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
The General Nursing Council of St. Lucia is disputing claims that in October 2014, the pass mark for the regional nursing examination was increased from 60% to 66%. The claims were made by a number of students who failed the exam. We hear more in this report.
14 regional general nursing examination, hoping that the exam results would be their gateway to becoming licensed nurses. 25 students passed the exam. Some of those who took the test alleged that the pass mark was arbitrarily increased from 60% to 66%. The chair of the General Nursing Council of St. Lucia says this is not so. Nurse Lucia Lee says the students were informed way in advance that with the assistance of CXC, the format of the exam would change.
The exams would not be multiple choice and essay items anymore. All would be multiple choice. So there would be two papers, a morning paper and an afternoon paper of 100 items, 100 multiple choice items.
The October 2014 exam was the first conducted with the help of CXC. Nurse Lee says with the change in the format of the exam came a new formula for grading.
Method known as ACGOF method would be used, where all items would be marked, the total of each item taken, and then divided by the number of items that were with the examination, included in the examination. So as a result of this, the pass mark could not be predetermined, arbitrarily determined. It was after the marking of the papers that the pass mark would be arrived at. And this is what was done by CXC with the October examination.
The recent graduates of the nursing program are crying foul over the new system and insist that they were not informed in advance of the change in pass mark. They say they are now considering legal action against the council.
Internationally, French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo has published its first issue since an attack on its office last week, featuring what they say is a depiction of Prophet Muhammad. Al Jazeera's Barnaby Phillips reports from Paris.
They were queuing before dawn. Such was the demand for this week's Charlie Hebdo, and celebrating if they managed to get their hands on a copy.
Oh, I'm so happy. I woke up super early and went everywhere, and they were all sold out by 6:30. But now I'm happy.
We're not showing the cover in case some viewers are offended. It shows the Prophet Muhammad with a Je suis Charlie placard. But on the inside pages, Charlie Hebdo is as irreverent as ever, mocking the hypocrisy it sees in Catholicism, Islam, and French politics. Vincent is part of the online community on the Reddit website, organising to send hundreds of copies abroad. So where has the demand come from?
The majority comes from the European and North American regions. Then we have Asia as well. We've got requests coming from India and Malaysia, farther into Australia as well, a few, and maybe 5 or 6 coming from Latin America, and those are mostly in Argentina and Brazil.
We've come to the 18th arrondissement in the north of Paris, and here there is a substantial Muslim population, and we've discovered a wide variety of reactions to the new edition of Charlie Hebdo.
Regarding the cover, some Muslims in France will take it differently, but in general we are not upset. What's important is that we condemn the attacks.
It's democracy. It's a newspaper. Well, it's a bit upsetting, but we have no choice. It's a newspaper in a democracy. We need to have it.
By 10 in the morning, Charlie Hebdo had disappeared from the newsstands across Paris. Sold out. The newspaper they tried to kill cannot print fast enough to meet demand. Barnaby Phillips, Al Jazeera, Paris.
Divers in the Java Sea have retrieved the cockpit voice recorder from the crashed AirAsia flight QZ8501. Here's more.
Indonesia's transport minister looking through the recovered wreckage of the crashed AirAsia plane as news was confirmed of the second black box being retrieved. The cockpit voice recorder contains vital information about the conversations between the pilot and the co-pilot minutes before the crash. This is a major breakthrough for Indonesia. Officials have now found two vital parts of the wreckage that will help piece together a picture of why the plane crashed. On Monday, the flight data recorder was retrieved from the depths of the Java Sea. Both boxes will now be sent to labs in Indonesia for analysis. It's thought international investigators will also be pitching in.
The black box will be saved at the laboratory and people are not allowed to enter unless assigned by the investigating team. The black box will remain in the container until we have agreed on the standard procedure to open it.
The crash has cast an ugly shadow on Indonesia's growing airline industry.
The Ministry and the investigator must be open with the results on what went wrong. Was it human error or other problems? I think the analysis must be transparent and open to all.
First of all, security and safety, as well as other aviation regulations, must be enhanced. Among the pilots, they should be retrained with an emphasis on safety.
It's now been more than 2 weeks since the AirAsia plane plunged into the Java Sea, killing all 162 people on board. The discovery of the two black boxes will be a welcome development for relatives waiting for any answers as to why the plane crashed, and will hopefully provide some closure for these grieving families. Karishma Vaswani, BBC News, Jakarta.
Now the weather. Today, the Federation will see showers with winds diminishing for the afternoon. Temperatures will reach a high of 28 degrees and a low of 23 degrees, with winds blowing from the east-northeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. This evening, skies will be cloudy with showers. Sunset will be at 5:56 p.m. That's it for ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us at 6:30 and 7 p.m. for the major news presentation. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyla Barrage.